Hello?
Hi, Andrea. It's Margie. How are you?
Hi, Margie. Terrific. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be chatting with you today.
Thank you. Me too.
So I'd love for you to tell me about this new moon.
Well, you know I love new moons. Another month,
Yes.
another new beginning, and a new chance to set our intentions for the month ahead. Yay!
Yay! So what do you see coming in? And can you tell me a little bit for the people listening that might not know, what is the new moon?
Well, the new moon is when it occurs monthly when the sun and the moon are conjunct or together in a particular sign. And I like to give people the image of a new moon being like an empty cup ready to be filled with the incoming energies. And when we add our conscious intentions to the energies, when we add our conscious intention to the energies that are already in play, it really kicks up what we reflect out into the world. And in turn, the world is going to mirror it right back to us. So
That's a beautiful way of saying that. Yes.
It is. It's true. So it's all about an understanding of what's in play, adding our conscious understanding and intention, and going after what we love and what we want.
Perfect.
This month's new moon has 4 retrograde planets that are going to slow us down and give us opportunity to reconsider how we're going to go forward, which is, I think, a benefit.
Yes, that is a benefit.
This is such a strong time in history to reassess what is authentically important to us. And the key question for the month that I'm putting out there is, what will add more value and happiness and make our life more meaningful? So when we look to the skies, on April 26th, the first thing that jumps out is that there isn't much of a direct connection between this new moon and other planets. There is only a weak conjunction, 10 degrees, which is pretty far away, to Mercury and Uranus. But other than that, this sun and moon are essentially going it alone. But mark my words, just because they're not making a strong aspect with another planet, it's not going to minimize the effects of this Taurus energy that's going to come through. The moon is about reception and reflection, and she exalts in Taurus, meaning the qualities of this moon will be most easily expressed and intensified. And all these intensified emotions and instincts and feelings can have the effect of making people feel vulnerable and probably make them want to keep their feelings private until they figure out what the heck is going on.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
So we need to ask, what is going on? And the
Yes.
way I interpret the chart is that over the next month, I see the values of Taurus really coming to light and people questioning whether material possessions alone are capable of making them truly happy. Over the next
Go ahead.
Over the next month, no worries. Over the next month, we can expect to see Taurus themes playing out that have to do with people being dependable, reliable, patient, and loyal. And of course, there's always the flip side, which is stubborn, materialistic, and possessive. These are Taurus themes. Taurus, the strong bull, is a fixed sign that represents the element of earth. And earth energy is rooted in what's tangible, those things we can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Taurus is known for its sensuality and its appreciation for what's beautiful. And because of that, Taurus loves to acquire material possessions. The more things, the better. And the goddess, the planet Venus, rules Taurus, and she is the icon for sensuality, beauty, and physical pleasure. And by now, probably most people are thinking, Taurus sounds great. What's wrong with all that? But Taurus, like all the signs, has its journey. And the journey begins with acquiring material possessions and living life sensually through the five senses. Taurus associates their inner value with the beautiful material possessions they have. And this continues until the point when Taurus feels a sense of inward lack, even though they're surrounded by all these beautiful objects. And Taurus then realizes that there's got to be more meaning to life than what's physically tangible. And they start to question their attachments to the physical and want to do something more meaningful. And at that point, that's when Taurus turns their powerful energy to finding the inner value within themselves. And they want to give their own gifts and talents and abilities to helping others find theirs. So I see that over the next month, issues will come up where many people will be taking a strong look at their inner value and reassessing what that means in the big picture of their life. Now,
and really diving deep inward, correct? And learning to express themselves in that way. Okay.
Right. It's going to be a whole sort of reevaluation about what is valuable, because so many people acquire so many beautiful things, and at first it feels great. But in the end, if you're sensing that didn't make who you were, that didn't touch your inherent value, and you can't reflect that inward value out to the world, then there's a sense of emptiness. And that emptiness doesn't have to continue. At any time, we can reassess who we are and what is valuable about us.
Yes.
And take that inward journey.
What a great time to do that, especially with the spring and everything that's, beautiful. I got chills, actually. Go ahead.
Good. And so, this new moon isn't having a strong conversation. It's having a weak one, and we'll get into that, but essentially isolated. And so what we want to do is look to Venus and see what Venus is doing, because Venus rules Taurus. And Venus is in the last degree of Pisces. I don't know if you remember in our last full moon assessment, I had mentioned that Venus had gone retrograde back into Pisces for reevaluation. And so she gave us another chance to imagine and consider what true beauty is and what makes us authentically beautiful. Again, it's that inward beauty. So both Venus and Taurus, both Venus and our Taurus new moon tell us to start our month out by tapping into our feelings of what we need to be inwardly fulfilled and how we can showcase our true inner beauty. Again, this continues with the theme of looking inward for the greatest value in our life. Okay, now we'll take a look at the loose conjunction, the weak conversation that is taking place between the new moon and Mercury and Uranus, and it's happening in Aries. So there's still a strong urge to express our individuality and independence in an impulsive way. But with Mercury retrograde, the mind is slowing us down, making us rethink and recheck our communication so we can reconsider what new ideas are popping into our head and how to actually express them to get the maximum impact. Now, Mercury and Uranus are having conversations with quite a few planets. The strongest, of course, is the T-square that's happening with Pluto and Jupiter, and we can get into that, and as a matter of fact, and also Saturn. So I think we'll get into that. Pluto retrograde is off in the corner of the T-square, and it's keeping the pressure on. The question, I think, unconsciously in people's mind is whether to keep or destroy the current established materialistic power structure. I think People inherently feel that something isn't quite right with our established systems of money, government, food, health, etc. Yeah. But people can't get a handle on it. You know, expect more dirty secrets to be exposed over the next 7 years while Pluto is, you know, raking Capricorn over the coals. Capricorn is all about structure and what we have established. And I think people they're waking up to the problems that we're having with our current power structure.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Saturn, we've got a trine with Saturn going on, and Saturn's in Sagittarius, which brings an element of maturity and wisdom, and helping us to get to our own personal truth. You know, personal truth is different than the truth that we hear out there. I don't know if you've come to the conclusion that no matter where you turn, there seems to be somebody new giving you a new kind of truth. And,
yes.
You know, we don't know what reality is anymore. There's so much truth in so many different places from so many different perspectives that the real truth has to do with our own individual journey and what we experience on a daily basis. And Saturn is helping us find the wisdom and truth that we need so we can come up with our own innovative, even ingenious ideas. And, you know, Margie, I firmly believe that it is the inner pathway, not the outward focus, that gives our life a sense of purpose, meaning, and value. And I don't know
Absolutely.
How we can help those. Right. How can we help those we love, even the planet, without a sense of purpose, meaning, and value? I don't know.
Well, it does start inside, and that gets mirrored and reflected out in everything we do, whether it's, you know, working with plants or playing with kids or your animals, whatever. But once inside, we find our value and true, what I would call our true selves, filled with love and truth, whatever that is for each individual, it's projected out. And from there, you're right, the true ingenious comes out and the true magnificence of all of it, whether it's a challenge or not, right? There's still this deep connection and inner beauty inside of us that gives us the ability to navigate and be real, is what I would say. Just be our real, true selves, right? And it does start there. Yes. Yeah.
It starts there, and then we get to interact in a really authentic way with others, which then brings more meaning to our interactions and our life with other people.
Yes, and more value and everything. And for me, it also, once that journey starts, it's really, you can't stop it, I don't think, right? The calling is there.
Right.
But I also then believe we become, once we feel that, and know that's who we are, our ability to work with the energies that you're talking about and understand them becomes much more as part of our natural state, right? You know?
Right.
It's like, yes, so it's instead of someone being afraid of the full moon or something, I'm just saying that, they become aware of what that alignment is for them specifically, right? You know,
right?
Like it's such a cool thing.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for them to know themselves better and express themselves more authentically, and you know, overall just love life.
Yes,
and know that there was a meaning and a purpose for their being here, because everybody is an individual. We each have our own unique vibration and reason for being on the planet, and we want to maximize that. I do want to just talk about the last aspect that's going on with this loose conjunction between the new moon and Mercury-Uranus. There's also an opposition going on with Jupiter, and everyone loves Jupiter, planet of good fortune, and it's in the sign of Libra, sign of partnerships and how we relate to each other. And currently Jupiter is retrograde, giving us a wonderful opportunity for personal growth and happiness. But here's the deal with Jupiter when it's retrograde. If you want the best out of this planet, then there has to be a requirement for each of us to really think about how we're going to go about getting what we want. How are we treating others to get what we want? Are we being cruel, thoughtless, greedy, or some other unvirtuous tactic? If we are, then when Jupiter goes direct in June, there will be disappointments. But on the other hand, if we're operating with integrity, we can certainly expect great leaps forward with our dreams and our plans. The conversation that Jupiter is having right now with Neptune is one of trusting that if we interact with people in an honest and decent way, then the road with our ideal vision of what we want will appear. So we have to trust that being decent and honest and all those, well, I'll call, positive character trait virtues, if we live that way, then the road we want with all our dreams and hopes will appear. And so the retrograde planets are asking for us to do a lot of rethinking, reworking, reevaluating what is important to us.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick 3 positive character traits that jump out for me over the next month, they would be these. Number 1, gratitude, being truly appreciative for all the beautiful material possessions you've been able to acquire over your life so far. Number 2, detachment, or a sense of freedom, knowing that those outward possessions do not truly reflect who you authentically are inside. And number 3, purpose, to let your creativity and joy over your own value dictate how you'll go forward and shine. And that's the way I see it, Margie.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. What I'd like to know, and I know that you're starting this program, so as you just shared with me about the month, mm-hmm. and how can someone like me work that with my own stuff? I mean, you've done a reading on me before, and is there some way, are you going to start something, or do you have something where I can reach out to you once a month and maybe work with these new moon energies coming in with my own chart?
Absolutely. Each month I will be providing personalized readings of the incoming energies and how they impact someone personally. So, for instance, you were born with moon at 12 degrees Taurus, and you would definitely be impacted by this because we have this new moon at 6 degrees Taurus. Well, that's a conjunction. And so you would be impacted. And I say that over the next month, you'll be looking for ways to bring more meaning to your own life and the value you bring to your friends, colleagues, social groups, and the services you provide for people, because it shows up in your 11th house. So that's how I see it coming to you. Now, during a monthly reading, we'll get more in depth about how you can navigate and maximize the incoming energies so you can be happier and more fulfilled. And of course, we'll do it with all the planets on your chart and how your entire chart in life is being impacted. So, yes.
Yay, I'm so excited. So how can they reach you? I know on Basmati we can click on your name, but
right. My website is awakenastrology.com. You can email me at Andrea@awakenastrology.com. And you can find me on Basmati. So
yay,
it's easy.
Yay. So I'll be chatting with you like in the next couple of days to get mine for the month.
Absolutely. Love it. Yeah.
I love it too.
Yeah.
I thank you so much for this chat, and I will talk to you again next month.
Thanks,
for this.
Margie. I loved it. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. I'll talk to you soon, Andrea.
All right, Margie. All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.